Yes, we are back and ready to roll for episode number 63 of the Shutdown Inning Podcast. It is good to be back. Stephen Rissotto with you alongside Tylor Hall. Tyler, what's going on? We got baseball.
Hey, everybody. Spring has sprung, Stephen. We have baseball to watch, and it's a beautiful time of the year.
Beautiful time of the year. And my favorite part of like when spring training hits is not just seeing like new players in new places, not just seeing games being played, but just seeing like the notifications on my phone that things are happening. Like there's players that I don't know that come up on my screen as hitting a home run. This person just hit a grand slam for the Giants, and maybe you don't know who it is, but there's just a vibe, and I'm so looking forward to this baseball season. I'm looking forward to getting out to the ballpark. It's an exciting time, and I wish I could be at Scottsdale. Like I've never been to spring training. I'll probably go eventually, but yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list for sure. I think we've talked about it before. I haven't made it down there either, and I'll have to definitely make it happen in the next few years. So it's always good down there. And then yeah, I mean, we got Major League Baseball. I've got Little League Baseball starting. I'm managing again this year, Steven. Gotta stretch out my arm and get my pitch count up because we're into coach pitch now. And shout out to the Yard Goats, my team. And yeah, it's just baseball all around, dude. It's a great
Okay, I
time.
we I had to follow up on that. You're managing. Do you have
Yep.
like a managerial? Wait, first of all, are there umpires in at the level that you're at?
No, the first and third base coaches will make the calls on the field. They said every once in a while we might have a junior umpire who's just learning how to ump, and so they might come out and try to make some calls, but to be kind to them.
And do you have to be in charge also of like the uniforms and like getting those distributed and or is that like
Yeah, I'll distribute them. Like I don't order them or anything. Once they come in, they'll give them to me and I'll give them to the team. So I'll be like Mike Murphy. I'll be assigning the numbers.
yeah, you have to keep us updated on this. This is like this is a cool like side quest storyline of the Shutdown Inning podcast. Just Tyler's season in managing,
All
um,
right. Yeah,
coach.
we're the yard goats this year. In my little league for T-ball and coach pitch, they use minor league team names. And so last year we were the Tin Caps in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and this year we're the Yard Goats, who are based in Hartford. They're the Rockies Double A affiliate, and I chose it because it's kind of a funny name, great logo, and have some fun team cheers going too. So,
Yeah, that would be funny if you're coaching and your kid is not playing, but you're just doing it just to coach.
all right, shout out our friend Giano.
Yeah, exactly. No, Giano's great. Giano, if he's listening, he spends a lot of time like building relationships, and it's definitely cool to see. And I know Joe Shasky at 95.7 The Game, who I work with, does kind of the same thing. So, with Junior Giants, me every summer. So it's a lot of fun. And having baseball back is a lot of fun. And we did a free agent draft in the last episode. This episode, we got a WBC draft. We're going to do that in just a little bit. But one of the players that you took in the free agent draft, well, a lot of the players are off the board now. But I mean, Max Scherzer, the newest one, signing with the Blue Jays, 1 year, $3 million.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised it was only 3 million. I'm not surprised he went back to Toronto. I know there was some rumblings he might come to San Francisco at some point because of his relationship with Tony Vitello. But he said he's comfortable waiting until May, June to sign. And so, I think the Jays figured we might as well if you're going to get him for $3 million, you might as well bring him in for the full season, and you can just have him make like two or three starts a month if that's what you want to do. But yeah, I mean, obviously an all-time great in Scherzer, and kind of cool that he gets to keep pitching as long as he's able to.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that these guys like Verlander and Scherzer are just kind of hanging on, but they're not. I still think that they bring value to big league teams, and we saw it last year with Verlander. Like there was still a lot of value he brought, especially down the stretch into the second part of the season when he was lights out and the velocity was still there and the breaking stuff was still there. Scherzer's dealt with a little bit more injuries as of late than Verlander has, but I guess we'll see if he's healthy and how many starts he could give them. I think I saw he's recovering from something still, but I could be wrong. But Also, where does he fit in that Blue Jays rotation? A team that's, coming off of a postseason, deep postseason run, a World Series appearance, and he was part of that run, on that pitching staff. So we'll see where he fits this time around. I know they added a few arms too, so I don't know where that leaves him, but good for him getting a good price. And I'm sure all 29 other teams, Tyler, figured we could have made that deal happen 1 year, $3 million plus incentives for Max Scherzer. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
and he's one of a couple guys. Shout out to him and Verlander, older than me, still going. He's about a month and a half older than me. Hope he pitches forever, Steven. But yeah, 3 million, like I said, any team could have done that. Would have made a lot of sense for a lot of teams, and he's staying up north.
Yeah, and I know you hate when I say this, but I'm getting old because there's players entering into the league that I'm older than. So I'm getting really old, Tyler, just really
Hey,
quickly.
before you know it, there's only going to be one or two older than you left, dude.
That's crazy. I was just talking to somebody about this, but like I was saying that the last player to start their career before I was born that I saw was Pujols. Pujols started in 2001 and then went until like 2022, I think.
Hmm.
So, uh, there's no more. That's like long gone. I'll be 24 in uh in April, so that's asking too much. But yeah, definitely the age. Jordan Walker still remains the first player that was younger than me to enter into the big leagues. So,
Yeah.
by the way, and you know what? I'll save it for the WBC. I'll save it. Uh,
Save it.
yeah, because I just thought of something that came to mind that I saw today. All right. Also, speaking of starting pitching and speaking of veterans who could be on the track to the Hall of Fame, Chris Sale, who is one of the premier starters of his day and even in today's game, was extended by the Atlanta Braves, $27 million. He'll get that in 2027. He's got a club option for 2028. Not a long-term deal. He's obviously up in age, but just a little nice reassurance for a Chris Sale stay in Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely. He's I think I just looked. He's about to turn 37. So yeah, if he pitches through 28, he'll be about 40. So but if he pitches like he has the last couple of years, especially, that Cy Young season in 24, that 28 option will probably be picked up if he can stay healthy. And so, it's a pretty solid anchor. We talked about guys like Scherzer and Verlander. Sale's kind of one of those elder statesman starters who still performs well, and the Braves are hoping for a bounce back season by a lot of guys. And if they can, Sale will be there to lead the pitching staff.
Yeah, and I mean, I it feels like just yesterday, like we were kind of down on Sale. I know I was. I know I'm looking at his stat page right now. He missed 2020 with injury. He barely pitched in 2021, only 9 starts, only 2 starts in 2022. This is a resurgence, Tyler, that I don't think anybody is really talking about as much as they should. I mean, this guy was one of the better pitchers in the American League for a long time with the Red Sox and the White Sox, and then just hit a brick wall. And with the Braves, he's completely transformed himself back into the pitcher he was. Maybe not completely, but 2024, like you mentioned, won a Cy Young, and last year kind of battled through injuries, only threw a handful of innings. For me, like I feel like he doesn't need to be that guy to throw 200 innings anymore. He could be the guy that could throw 130, 140, 50 innings. Um, with the type of production he had last year, he had 2.58 ERA and 125 and two-thirds innings. Like that's going to get it done. Like if you have the depth to be able to handle that in your rotation and you could put up with Chris Sale missing a little bit of the year, then I would take that 9 times out of 10. But like I see no reason why he can't continue to be like this type of arm going forward. But he could be a Hall of Famer. Like, I mean, he's got almost 60 WAR. I mean, he
I
might
mean,
get there
yeah,
this
you
season.
you could argue he is a Hall of Famer already. It's pretty crazy he's only won one Cy Young, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I think what was crazy was he did kind of bounce back out of nowhere, in between from 2020 through 2022. So over 3 seasons, he only made 11 starts. In 2019, his year in Boston there was not very strong. So he went not a great year, 3 years of basically not pitching. Even his last year in Boston, he pitched a bit more, but he wasn't Chris Sale, and then something unlocked when he moved to Atlanta, and the resurgence was fully there. And so, yeah, especially if he can have a solid year this next couple of years. I mean, I think he's definitely going to Cooperstown if he's not already. He'd be a borderline case if he retired right now.
No doubt, no doubt. I think there's more volume there than let's say like Felix has, but I mean to be honest, like it's a great spot for him. Atlanta's a good spot for him and I could see them turning it around real quick. Like I think the Braves, their year that they had last year might be an anomaly. Sale's a great fit there. He's a Florida guy, went to high school and college there. And they have the pieces to turn things around. So good deal. Chris Sale staying put for a few more seasons, perhaps in Atlanta. One of the things developing that's kind of the big storyline of spring training. I know a few years ago we talked about the pitch clock. We spent a few episodes talking about how that was going to be implemented and then our early impressions of that. We now kind of have, along with last season too, an early impression of what ABS is going to look like in the regular season. We're getting a taste of it, but what have you noticed from how it's looked so far in spring training?
I mean, so far, I don't really have any concerns. It's been pretty quick. There's been, most of the calls have been pretty close. I saw one like totally egregious one. I forget which game it was, like at the knees right over the
Yeah.
middle of the plate, and they called it a ball and they had to challenge it. Good news is like they're not limited to challenges. It's like if you're right, you can keep challenging. So I like that because the key of ABS is to get it right, right? Not to limit how many times you can tell the umpire they got it wrong. So, it's pretty quick. We talked about it when it first started to develop. If you've watched any like professional tennis, they raise their hand, make a challenge, and like 10 seconds later, they know if the ball was in or out. And so, same with the strike zone. I think the interesting thing is, how they're delineating the strike zone on there, and I've heard there's already like a little bit of a differences, but so far it seems pretty smooth, man. What do you think?
I agree, and I've been in favor of ABS, and when it comes to full ABS, I've kind of like gone back and forth. I've kind of flip-flopped a little bit. I was for it, then I'm against it. Now I'm kind of I don't know because I guess I came to the realization that I do like the value the catcher brings behind the plate and being able to frame and sell calls and stuff like that. But I like the challenge system. I got a taste of it when I saw a River Cats game a few years ago, and I'm sure
Mhm.
you living out there, you've seen it a little bit in action at the AAA level. Um, a few things. Number one, there are going to be umpires that are going to get embarrassed. Like that's going to
Right.
happen. Like there's going to be a game where you see 10 overturned calls, and it's going to get to the point where umpires are going to stand out if they're good, and they're going to stand out even further if they're bad. Um, because there should be a number attributed on the percentage of challenges or a number of how many overturned calls, and it's going to be telling. And some of these guys, if they have high numbers, like it's going to be interesting to see how Major League Baseball handles that. But I think there's an umpire in the other day's game, one of the games in the Grapefruit Fruit League, that had five calls overturned in like less than 5 innings, and that stuff's going to happen. Like it's 100% going to happen. There's going to be umpires that are going to be literally the spotlight's going to be on them, not just at home, but also um, at the field. And like that leads me into this last point. This is going to be so much fun for people who are at the game. Just because, like,
Hmm.
I don't know your experience with it, but mine, it was like it was a total event, like looking up to see what it was going to be, and it's going to be good for
Yeah.
kids too. Like I could see Hunter, for example, like really getting into it. Oh, he's challenging this call, and then you see the ball coming in. It's like so like it's a
Yeah.
cool thing, and I think it adds. I think it completely is unintentional. I don't think baseball knew that when they were doing this, but it
Yeah.
adds an unintentional element of like fun to the game and to the viewing experience.
Yeah, and like you said, for kids especially, it kind of helps them understand what's a ball and what's a strike. Because
Exactly.
but yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. I agree. Like, I don't want to see it full time because, and this kind of goes into another point where you said it's going to show who the good umpires are and the bad umpires are, at least behind the plate. And I think one thing it will show and help fans realize is how good most of the umpires really are. Like, yes, do they blow in a call here and there occasionally? Yes. But we have guys throwing like 102-mile-per-hour balls with movement, and they're trying to decide if it went through the zone or not. So I think it will kind of help, kind of hopefully, build some appreciation for those good umpires. And also, they are right most of the time. So we don't need it for every pitch and spend, 5 to 10 seconds deciding every pitch, whether it was a ball or a strike. So I'm all for the challenge system. I hope we don't end up with it full time, at least for a while. And I think this could be helpful. Another thing you mentioned is, a lot of people, when they started talking about ABS, are like, oh, well, there goes Patrick Bailey's value. I still don't see it. Like I said, I think you can be wrong twice in a game.
Yeah.
So once another team is wrong twice, they can't challenge Patrick Bailey's framing anymore. And I've read some stories where it's even helped Patrick Bailey. Like his knowledge of the strike zone is so ridiculous that he got a couple challenges right as he was batting because he knew that a ball was called a strike and he challenged it. So if anything, it'll help him at the plate more than I think it will be a detriment to him as a receiver behind the plate.
Yeah, and he's also going to be using challenges. Like catchers get challenges, and if a catcher, not just Bailey, but if anybody stands out at being good at that, like that's a key. That could help too. Maybe it would make up for like a framing, like a missed like frame due to ABS. One that people think that he's going to lose value on. But just to your point about umpires being right, like everybody's like, oh, it's hard to trust the technology. And like, I agree to an extent, but like, why question the technology when you literally have humans back there? Like, it's like, oh, why? Like, we can't trust the technology just yet, but we've been trusting humans and a lot of them
Yeah.
elderly guys who, blink
Yeah.
when the ball comes. So it's like there's a double standard, and I get it. Maybe the technology won't be perfect. And I think the next thing that's going to come in is something that could help us figure out the check swing situation, because
Yeah.
that's never been defined. But it's going to be a cool thing. It already is a cool thing, and um, like we're going to come back on here when opening day starts, and we're going to talk about probably just the way teams are using them because maybe there's a strategy. Maybe it's like, okay, uh, bottom of the order guys, we don't want you using these. We'd rather preserve these for guys that walk a lot more or guys that have a chance to do damage or certain counts, right? I think like using it like a 1-1 count, right? 1-2 is way different than like 2-1, right? These challenges could determine whether you get another fastball in the at bat. So it's like different little tiny things like that. It's going to be really interesting to see how they figure out when the challenge and the strategy to use them.
Yeah, I mean, it was talk. I think was it last spring, the first time they started testing it in spring training, and I know some teams just told their players like it's not even going to be in the season this year. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Some managers said like we're not challenging anything before the seventh inning. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure every team will have their own kind of philosophy on how they want to utilize it and who's allowed to, especially when they're on offense.
Yeah, and I do have a quick question because I don't know if I got this. So is it per team? So like if you lose a challenge offensively, do you
It's
also
for your
lose it?
team.
You also
Yeah.
so that hurts the pitcher too. So
Yeah.
okay, so that was what I was unclear about. Because
Yeah,
if
so it's not like each player gets like some challenges. It's their team challenges.
yeah, I didn't know if it was like you get two offensively and then you get two defensively. But if that were the case, then and if you keep getting them, then that's
Yeah,
gonna just go
to my
on
knowledge, it's
forever.
just the team can be wrong twice in a game.
Yeah. My thing, I
Um,
want to see what's the max we could use in a game. I think it could be 10 to 15. Like in one game.
like what the record will be for
Yeah.
most, because obviously there's no cap, so it's just like as long as the team is right and challenging.
Yeah.
There's gonna be all stats for all kinds of stuff now. Like Aaron Judge is like, 7 out of 8 in his challenges this year, like stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Kind of
yeah, it'll
just
be
how like
interesting.
the
To see.
managers get credit for the challenges.
Yeah. That means most likely we're going to see the first ever ABS overturned call Wednesday, March 25th on Netflix when the New York Yankees play the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, geez. And by the way, the Giants are promoting that Friday night game as opening day. Like I looked
Mhm.
at like it's all in their promos and everything. So I'm wondering if like the whole line thing, and we talked about this, but if the whole line and name announcing, if that's going to take place on both nights or just one night or I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I feel like Netflix will want them to do it just so they have the feel of like, yes, this is the first game. This is what we do in Major League Baseball on the first
yeah,
game of the year.
but yeah, at the
But
same
I think
time,
it'll
though,
obviously
home.
be a more national audience direction. So I think the Giants will do, their in memoriams, their call outs of, different things on that Friday game.
No,
I,
100%.
I
Because
feel like Wednesday will be Major League Baseball's opening day, and Friday will be like the Giants opening day.
yeah, because I think home openers are different because the visiting team, the full lineup, I don't think it get or the full roster, I don't think it gets announced. I think just the home because I've been to the last four or so opening days and I can't remember like the team trainer for the
Yeah, I
um
think they usually bring out like they have everyone else just kind of come out and get on the line for the visiting team, and then they'll announce the manager and the starting lineup for the
yeah.
visitors.
So
And
yeah,
then for the home team, if you have a pulse, you get called out, you get announced and brought out to the line
yeah,
one at a time.
and if you don't have a pulse, you still get called out for the in memoriam. So
Right?
yeah. So
Circle of life on opening day, dude.
yeah, and we'll get to more in memoriam later on in the show. Uh, let's talk about real quick. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but just a flyer on I guess a flyer that's being taken on the San Diego Padres. And the reason I put this down on our little sheet here is like I can't remember a team for sale that is more that could be more appealing to a prospective buyer. And the Padres are rumored to be for sale. I think they are for sale. We know about the why am I Peter Seigler. We know his passing a few years ago. They've never really been the same since. There's been a dispute with his kids. The Seidler family is figuring some things out. And Drew Brees, the former New Orleans Saints quarterback, is apparently leading the charge to possibly buy. He's a part of a group to possibly buy the Padres, but I guess big picture wise, like that would be quite the team. And I'm wearing the hat. That would be quite the team to like get your hands on. Only team in the market.
Yeah, I mean, he's also former Chargers quarterback Drew Brees, Steven, when they played in San Diego. That's where he
Yeah.
started his career back before you were born. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, the Padres, I mean, even if the team wasn't in as good a spot as they were, like the stadium's beautiful, only professional sports team in San Diego. Uh, you know, living in San Diego, I imagine, is pretty awesome in its own right. And so, but then you put on top of that that they could really be a championship contender for the next, few years if they can put it together. So yeah, I mean, definitely a good opportunity if you've got a few hundred million laying around and you want to invest it.
Yeah. And if also just I mean, we've never doubted AJ Preller's desire and what he wants to do. So he might rebuild and tear things down, but like we know that he's gonna just go crazy and rebuild stuff back. So
Yep.
you give him a payroll that could do that and flexibility, then this team is a desirable play. And like I feel like I'm in San Diego every year now. I have a cousin that lives down there with her husband. My other cousin goes to school down there. I was just there in January. We go down there all that. We're going back for her graduation. So it's like if I were to live anywhere outside the Bay in California, it might be San Diego, but that's neither here nor there. But it's a great, great city, and baseball has gotten increasingly big there. Um, and I still feel like they haven't even peaked. Like they sell out, and I still feel like they haven't even peaked.
Mm.
A big playoff run in San Diego would be what I could see being putting them over the I don't even know what I'm saying. Over the hedge in terms of peaking. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that there's some news, ownership discussion in Major League Baseball, and then uh quickly pivoting, the New York Yankees, who are not for sale and have not been for sale for a while, they are rewarding CC Sabathia with a jersey retirement ceremony. They're retiring his number 52. The Yankees are famous, or I guess infamous, for retiring literally everybody's number. Sabathia is a Hall of Famer, I believe that was a few years ago. But he's getting his number retired, one of the good guys in baseball.
Yeah, for sure. It was always fun to watch CC Sabathia pitch, and I always kind of envisioned him as more of an Indian, but then you realize he spent 11 years in the Bronx, and obviously pitched really well for them. I think he was there for their last World Series, right? Yep,
Yep.
2009 World Series. Their first, I guess I wouldn't say first Hall of Famer in a while. They said Jeter and Rivera not too long ago, but obviously, a big part of that same era for them. And I'm not mad at it. Like you said, they retire enough numbers. Might as well put a guy in the Hall of Fame. If he's wearing your cap in the Hall of Fame and you retire a bunch of other dudes, you might as well put the Hall of Famers up there too. Means he'll probably get a bust in Monument Park.
Yep, that's right. That's what he's gonna get. And like we've talked about jersey retirements before, and like he's a Hall of Famer, and I know they feel like they have to do it, but I feel like it's gonna wear off. Like this is gonna be the 24th jersey the Yankees are retiring. The last one was Paul O'Neill, which I mean, um, I'm not saying that Sabathia isn't worthy. I think he's of course a Hall of Famer. I did vote him for our little mock ballots that we did. But at the same time, I feel like there could be a difference between Hall of Fame and jersey retirement. Like, I mean, I don't think teams need to feel handcuffed or obligated to do it just because someone's in the Hall of Fame. Like, we talked about this with Jeff Kent, and he's getting his number 21 retired. And I don't think the Giants had any plans to even do that. It was not even on their radar. And we never even talked about Jeff Kent as somebody who could get his number retired. And now all of a sudden he's in the Hall of Fame. And it's like we have to do it. You feel obligated because he's in the Hall of Fame and you want to treat everybody the same way.
Mhm.
So it's a struggle for me. I'm not saying he's not deserving of it, but it's like, man, you just don't look at 52. Maybe fans feel differently. You don't look at 52 the same way you look at maybe other numbers with the Yankees. But maybe the Yankees are an outlier and have icons that you
I
can't
mean,
really compare against each
each
other.
team does their own thing. Like you said, if you retire Paul O'Neill's number, you got to retire CC Sabathia's, dude.
Yeah. But it starts a bad precedent, and I feel like now they can't get out of their own way now. Like, what is this going to mean moving forward? Like 99 is going to be retired. Down the list, I'm sure there's players who like A-Rod's 13 is not even retired. Like, why aren't they giving A-Rod a day? Like that bothers me.
We both know why.
I know we both know why, but like I feel like he's done enough reconciliation to his image, recovering from his image. I mean, why doesn't he get a day?
I don't know. You should write Brian Cashman about it.
I should. I should. Yeah.
We should go to New York and we should hold Alex Rodriguez Day outside of Yankee Stadium while they're doing CC Sabathia Day inside, Steven. Let's do it. You and me in New York in September,
We could bring Spencer.
right?
We could bring Spencer, the only person that will ever listen to us. But I don't know. I mean, I wish A-Rod would get a day.
They will have 24 retired numbers when Sabathia's is hung
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. And I do want to say congrats to CC. He's one of my favorite people in baseball. No knock on him at all.
He's one of your favorite people ever in baseball, and you just complained for like 3 minutes about why they shouldn't just retire his number.
You could be my favorite person, Tyler, but like that doesn't mean I think that well, no, I think you're deserving of everything that you're ever gonna get. So I can't even say what I was gonna say. Anyways, yeah, so that's one thing that I thought of. Uh I completely lost my train of thought. This is good podcasting right here. All right, let's get into the WBC.
CC will be 25th number they've retired. Sorry, they you got to include Jackie. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. Yep. That's right. Jackie Robinson, everybody's
which
retired.
they already retired 42 because Mariano Rivera was the only guy or one of the only guys grandfathered in to wear 42 when Major League Baseball decided to retire it. He was already wearing
Yep.
it. They said you can keep wearing it.
Yep, the
So
last one to do it. I just saw something, the last hitter to do it was like Mo Vaughn or something. I think I have that correctly.
sounds
Uh
right.
but yeah, really interesting stuff there. And we are gearing for the WBC. This is a favorite of Tyler and I's. We love it. I think it's one of the best things that baseball has ever introduced. And it's growing. I mean, last year just people got on board with it in ways that we haven't seen before. I think it showed up in the
Yeah.
amount of people and the caliber of players participating this time around, and uh, people look forward to it, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it too. I don't know how much staying up I'm going to do, like I did last year, just because I have stuff in the morning now, early in the morning now.
Well, I don't
But
think you'll have to stay up super late because it's in North America this time, right? Wasn't
is
it in
it?
Japan? Yeah,
There's
it's in
one in
North
Japan.
America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe you're
And
right.
so everyone will know the World Baseball Classic starts this coming Wednesday and it will end on St. Patrick's Day. And I think I saw that the championship game will be at Lone Depot Park in beautiful Miami, Florida.
Nice. Where it's been before in the past, and I believe 2017 it was in Lone Depot Park where Buster Posey played and homered there. Crawford had a big WBC. Um, and one of the big storylines around the WBC is, of course, just the pitching that is going to be around, and especially on Team USA. They have two of the Cy Young winners in the National League, or two of the Cy Young winners of baseball, Tarek Skubal, Paul Skenes. Uh, and they're not going to be pitching as much as you think. Skubal is only going to make one start, I believe, against Great Britain in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. And Paul Skenes, I think, is going to make 1 to 2. So there's big publicity about this, how Team USA finally has pitching, um, but they're not going to be pitching as much.
I mean, if a guy was on the roster for the whole WBC, how many starts is he going to make? Like three, maybe four?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it starts Wednesday, which is like the third or fourth, and it ends. So it's only 2 weeks, really. It's 2 weeks long. So how many starts are you really missing? Maybe one or two if you only go once. So, I mean, I'm sure that the Giants aren't too thrilled, and maybe the Mets and some other teams with some other pitchers on the USA roster, because those guys only eating one start or maybe two means more workload for everybody else. But, would you rather have Paul Skeens for two starts or for zero starts?
yeah. No, that's a good point. And like I'm glad that they're figuring out a way to balance it because last year was rough. And I think if more players see this opportunity, maybe they're going to do it. Maybe it's like, okay, I could go and make a start in Florida for a day and come back, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Skubal's hoping that if, he's going to make his one start early in the tournament and his hope is that he'll be able to go back and at least like be with the team for the championship run if they make it to Miami. So, yeah, it'll be cool, like I said, I'd rather have those guys on the big stage for a start than no starts.
Yeah, so I mean, there's rumors that like, okay, all this is going to fall on Logan Webb. Well, guess what? Logan Webb has commented on this dilemma, or if it's a dilemma, if you even want to call it that. So, by the way, Skeens is going to make 2 starts, and then the rest of the rotation is Matt Boyd, Noah McLean, Joe Ryan, and Logan Webb. And Logan Webb was asked about this on Foul Territory by Eric Kratz and AJ Pierzynski and company, and he said that he's going to make 2 starts. And then he also said, quote, I feel like I got slack for that too, making 2 starts. I don't think they understand it's only 7 games, which is what you mentioned. If I throw two, Paul throws two, Skubal throws one. Those are studs throwing those other games. So I guess you're right. It's a much deeper staff, and there's not many games, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. Do you
And
think we'll see
speak,
Kershaw?
of course, we'll see him at some point. I don't know if we'll see him make a start, but you got to give, like, otherwise, like, why do you have him there?
Yeah.
They'll be crushing some team in one of the early games, and then they'll throw Kershaw out there for a couple innings. Are any of the games at Dodger Stadium this year? It's the one thing I don't know as much as about the locations outside of the
Uh,
championship, but especially if they're playing at Dodger Stadium, I feel like you got to let Kershaw get out there again.
yeah, no, that would be cool. So it's Tokyo Dome, Lone Depot Park, um, Dakin, which is Houston. So that's the new name for what I know as Minute Maid Park.
So,
Um
what
and
about
then
Enron Field, sir?
and okay, that's even before me. And then also San Juan, Puerto Rico is hosting a round. So there'll be a host venue as well in the first round. So yeah. I guess it's not a dilemma. I mean, I raised my eyebrows when I saw it, but I guess it does make sense. Also, I feel like the WBC lasts for a lot longer than it actually does, and that's also something that we need to take in mind for sure. All right, so Tyler and I prepared a WBC draft. Tyler had this great idea. We did a draft of the free agents, of course. Do you want to kind of explain like the rules to our little game here?
Yeah, our little game here.
Our
Sure,
little
Steven.
game here, yeah.
Yeah, so same as the last episode if you listened. So a full lineup. So catcher, first, second, third, short, three outfielders and a DH, three starting pitchers, one relief pitcher. The one caveat that me and Steven have agreed to is you can only take up to two bats and up to two arms from the same country. That way we're not loading up on, American and Dominican players because I mean, those two teams by far are the most stacked in this tournament. Like I went through and just kind of looked and I ended up starting to just leave names off my list because I was like, okay, I'm not, they're great. I'm not even going to take them though. But like, I mean, most countries I wrote down maybe some I wrote like 3 to 5 guys down. US and Dominican I wrote down like almost 20 guys where it's like these guys are all studs. So yeah, so two bats, two arms from each country max, and yeah, we'll see how it shakes out, dude.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of
Um,
fun. Who had the first pick in the last draft? Because I feel like that person,
you did. So you want me to go first?
I think you should go first.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like I kind of have to do this. I got to take Shohei Ohtani. He's uh he's gonna be my DH. He's also kind of like a backup pitcher. I'm gonna have four starting pitchers on in my team, Steven. So that's less than two starts each for the 7 games.
Wow. So do you want a cookie? Four starters. Very, very nice from Tylor Hall getting Shohei Ohtani first. I'm going to keep
Who would
track
you
of.
have taken first, Steven?
I would have also taken Shohei Ohtani, so I'm not going to sit here and blame you. So he's your DH, right?
Yep.
Okay. As I'm filling out my um Tylor Hall card here. All right, so you pick Shohei Ohtani first.
Yep.
I am gonna go with the MVP in the American League. I'll go with Aaron Judge. I'll take Aaron Judge as one of my outfielders.
Okay. So one USA bat.
Yep, the captain of the USA team. Um, one USA bat down, and we'll snake around. So I'm also going to go ahead and pick the Cy Young winner in the American League. We'll go with Tarek Skubal. So I feel like I did good there.
I think you did great, buddy. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Um, well, since you took Skubal, I'm going to take Skenes.
Nice.
So he's going to be my ace. And then just looking at where I think like the biggest difference makers are. I mean, there's some good catchers in this WBC, not a lot of great ones. So give me the guy who should have won American League MVP last year, Cal Raleigh, behind the dish.
Wow, the big dumper.
Big dumper.
He was at the top of my board, of course, as well. There's other catchers too in this WBC that are really interesting players. So, okay, so Cal, um, I am going to go ahead and use my other USA position player and grab my shortstop and get Bobby Witt Jr. So I'm done with
Okay.
position players from the USA. Um, And there's, of course, a lot of other guys that I would have wanted to, but I'll use it on Bobby Wood Jr.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap around again, and I will take an outfielder from the Dominican Republic, Juan Soto. So I mean, this really tells you how many great players there are in this WBC. I mean, this is
Yeah.
completely loaded. So,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. Um, all right. I'm gonna take an outfielder from Venezuela. I'm gonna take Ronald Acuna Jr.
wow. Okay. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even see him on the roster.
Oh, reading's tough. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They even have pictures of the guys though, dude.
I know.
Um, Because I figure I got to be able to find areas where I don't need to take an American or a Dominican Republic representative. So I'll take Acuna, and then I will take Yoshinobu Yamamoto,
Dang. I thought he was a sleeper because you wouldn't normally think of like, um,
the guy who just shoved in the whole postseason. Yeah, who would think of that guy?
I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest. Um, okay, so you have two starters, Skenes and Yamamoto. Your team is looking pretty good. Great job. Okay, I'm going to finish up my outfield and finish up my presence on the Dominican Republic side. Um, and go ahead and get Julio Rodriguez to round out my outfield. So very happy with that one.
So you have four bats right now, and you're done with bats from the USA and the Dominican Republic,
That's
right?
right. That's
All
right.
right.
And I'm wondering if that was a risky move because that might have actually been a very risky move, but I might be screwed later. But teach, yeah, we'll see.
So is that your, how many guys do you have?
I have one, two, three, four, five. Okay, so I go again, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I got him. I'm also gonna go ahead and pick a pitcher from the Dominican Republic now. I'll give Skubal a left-hander to go behind him, and I'll go with Christopher Sanchez. And this was tough. It was between Webb and Chris Sanchez, and I think Sanchez finished above him in Cy Young voting, so that was kind of what put him over the top for me. So
It's a good pick. Um, Man, so I really don't need to worry. I can just wait on the
I
American
hate
and
that. Dang
Dominican
it.
bat that I want to pick, dude.
No.
So I'll just hit the little pause button. I'll see where the chips may fall there.
Yeah.
Um,
Not good
how
strategy by me.
how many starting pitchers do you have?
I have two.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm not going to let Logan Webb come back to you, so I will take Logan Webb to close out my rotation.
Very nice.
All five starters that have gone so far were my top five. So I'll see if you take who after that it gets, there's it's a little questionable.
Yeah, a little bit.
Um, and then I'm going to take one more. Let me take one look at something before I totally gum up our operation here. Um, I'm gonna kind of maybe make a surprising move here. Actually, no, I'm not. Give me Jackson Chourio in
Okay.
the outfield, also from Venezuela. Yeah. Venezuela. Sorry. I figure that's a pretty solid base, some a good balance there for the outfield. And
Nice.
I don't use any U.S. or Dominican guys yet, so we're
Yeah.
saving.
See,
We're banking there.
I kind of went too fast, too quick.
Yeah, you got a little excited there, dude.
I did get a little
Uh,
excited and I didn't even take into account the strategy. All right.
and I think I get one more, right?
No, you just
Oh
picked
no, I took Webb. I took
yeah,
Webb too. So
Churio and
yeah,
Webb. Yeah.
your turn.
Okay. Um, I am gonna go ahead. I can't get these. I can't get him. I can't get him. I can't. I can't get him. Okay. I will pick somebody from Venezuela, and I'll go with Michael Garcia as my third baseman, since you have no Venezuelan players remaining. So I'll go with him at third base, Michael Garcia
Okay,
from the Kansas City Royals.
nice pick. Um, oh, and you get one more, right?
I do have one more. My last one, I'm gonna go ahead and pick. Um, ooh, I'll go ahead and get my second baseman. I'll go with Jazz Chisholm from Great Britain. I don't know if he was on your board. But it's a country that I think he might be the only player representing, if I'm not mistaken, uh,
Yeah.
that any of us pick. So we'll go with Jazz at second base.
Okay. So back to me, right?
Yep.
All right. So give me. Who do I have? I will take Manny Machado at third.
Yep, he's one of the ones that I just can't, obviously.
And then I will take, see, this is where I got to figure out how I want. I have one USA guy left and one DR guy left. Um, Give me Vinny Pasquantino from Italy at first.
I hate you so much.
Were you going to take him?
Yes.
I,
He's
I
he's
took
he's
the
an
Italian
Italian.
before Steven Risotto did.
He's an Italian. He's an
He's
Italian.
also like probably kind of like you had Chisholm. I think he might be the only Italian that goes, unless you want to shock the world here, Steven.
Maybe. I thought about it actually. Yeah,
Taking another Italian?
yeah. So you go Machado and Pasquantino. I am thinking about taking another Italian. All right. Well, I'll just use my second and last Venezuelan position player and go with William Contreras because I do need a catcher. Um,
No Will Smith.
no Will Smith. Nope. I can't. I don't have room for him, Tyler. I have two
Oh,
American
that's right. No
players.
Alejandro Kirk.
No. Yeah, that's right. Kirk was the other one, but I'll go with Contreras. I just think he's a better player.
Okay.
And then let's see. I can't go with them. I can't go there. I can't go there. Um, I'll go with the starting pitcher here because you have your starting rotation. Actually, I will not go with the starting pitcher here because you do have some spots open on the position player side, but not on the rotation side. So I'll go with I'll go with Josh Naylor, Canadian first baseman. You have Pasquantino. I'll put Naylor at first base. I think that would be a pretty good fit.
Yeah. So you got your two picks now, right? So
Yeah,
back to
so
me.
I went with Naylor and I went with Contreras.
Yeah, like I was trying to decide my last pick if I wanted to use my last DR spot or my first DR spot to take, or I guess it would have been my second at that point to take Vladdy at first. But decided to skip that because I'm going to take Fernando Tatis Jr. to
Yeah.
round out my outfield.
Yeah, he was one that I really had my eye on, but I obviously handcuffed myself completely in this exercise,
Yeah.
and there's no hope.
And then I'll take Andres Munoz as my relief
Nice.
pitcher from Mexico.
Nice. That's a good one. And he was on my one of my lists. And of course I cannot take another American pitcher either. I can take in another American pitcher. I do have that ability. I have Skubal and Chris Sanchez. So I'm not out completely on the in the American department. So
Congratulations, sir.
thank you. So you went with Munoz and Tatis Jr. Uh, I th three spots remaining for me. How about this one? I'll put at DH somebody you might not think, but I'll go with DH Xander Bogaerts from the Netherlands. I'll take away a possible shortstop option for you.
Okay.
Okay. So
Congratulations on Xander Bogarts.
yeah, I I I, I think that would work. Okay.
Sure.
And then since I filled up my position player bracket now, I will go with a starting pitcher and I will go ahead and select Ranger Suarez from Venezuela. So
All right.
I I, I appreciate you, Joe Ryan, for being there, but not able to fit you in there. So I'll go with Ranger.
So one little problem to you taking Xander Bogarts from me at shortstop, Steven, is that Gunnar Henderson from the United States
I'm aware. You know,
can play there too.
he's already been deleted off my draft board long ago.
But I feel like you took Bogarts to try to block me from getting him at shortstop. And I've got Gunnar Henderson sitting right
Yeah.
there for me, big guy. So I'm
When
going to take Gunnar Henderson.
when I said that, I forgot.
And then so I'm all chock full on Dominican and American bats now. So then to round out my roster at second, I'll take Ozzy Albies
Yeah.
from the Netherlands,
Okay. I'm shocked that you didn't go with Ketel Marte,
who's from the Dominican Republic.
who is from the Dominican Republic.
So
Yeah.
I couldn't take
Oh
him.
no, you couldn't because you have Tatis and Machado. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Interesting. That's a good pick then.
I almost took him at second instead of Tatis, but I wanted to use my last American to take Henderson, and really there's obviously some good players out there in the outfield, but I feel like you kind of fall off an edge there after you get through the American and Dominican guys, minus the two Venezuelan outfielders I grabbed. So I decided to go with Albies at second and Tatis in the outfield to kind of utilize the balance the Dominican Republic. So who's your last pick, dude? Reliever you need?
Reliever. I think I got you on the reliever. You pick Munoz, good pick. Um, but I could have gone with David Bednar from the USA. I do have one American pitching spot left. I could have gone with Kenley Jansen from the Netherlands. Could have gone with Edwin Diaz, who was brave enough to put on a WBC jersey again after the last time. But I'm gonna go with Mason Miller from the USA. Mason Miller as my reliever. Um, I'm very confident with that, and I'm very confident with my team. I feel like there's a lot of I didn't do this the right way. If I were to go back, I would definitely change some things, Tyler. Not gonna
You
lie.
did great. I was a big fan of your strategy.
Yeah, I shut up. So, we could do best of the rest. I mentioned some of the relievers, the starting pitchers that didn't get picked. Joe Ryan from USA, Aaron Nola pitching for Italy. I don't know if he was on your board. Luis Severino, Brian Bayo, Taj Bradley from Mexico, Jamison Tyone will pitch for Canada. And
Yep.
then some of the position players, Alejandro Kirk, Andres Jimenez from Venezuela, O'Neal Cruz, Seiya Suzuki, Jaron Duran, Jung-Hoo Lee, Nolan Arenado, Puerto Rico this time. He was a winner in 2017 with the USA. You ended up picking Albies, so I got to take him off here. Randy Rosarena, Harrison Bader, Israel, Elliot Ramos, Puerto Rico, Jack Caglione, Italian, Denzel Clark, Canada, Tyler O'Neill, Canada. And the Italian, if I did not get Jazz Chisholm at second, the Italian I would have put there is friend of Rizzocast, Miles Mastroboni.
I wish you would have done that, dude. That would have
Yeah.
been amazing.
Yeah. So friend of the show.
So so give us your lineup.
Okay. So catcher, William Contreras, first base, Josh Naylor, second base, Jazz Chisholm, third base, Michael Garcia, shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., outfield, Aaron Judge, outfield, Juan Soto, outfield, Julio Rodriguez, DH, Xander Bogaerts, starting pitcher, Tarek Skubal, starting pitcher, Christopher Sanchez, starting pitcher, Ranger Suarez, relief pitcher, Mason Miller, manager, Steven Risotto.
All right. And then I've got catcher Cal Raleigh, first baseman Vinny Pasquantino, second base Ozzy Albies, third base Manny Machado, shortstop Gunnar Henderson, outfield Ronald Acuna Jr., outfield Jackson Chourio, outfield Fernando Tatis Jr., DH slash starting pitcher number four Shohei Ohtani. Got a rotation of Paul Skenes, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Logan Webb, and then Andres Munoz closing it out for
And
Team
manager?
Tyler Hall.
Yeah, there you go.
Manager Tyler Hall.
There you go. Steven Risotto, San Francisco State University, linebacker. Yeah. Um,
Linebacker in what? Pee Wee?
manage me. No. Uh, the news that what I was going to tell you earlier, and I said that I would wait and tell you when we get to the WBC stuff, is that coaching for Team Italy, Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, and bench
Oh,
coach, our friend Ron Wotus.
nice.
So
I
we
didn't know
got to get him
Wotus.
back on the show to talk
We
about
got to
his
get him on,
experience.
yeah, for like a WBC experience. Yeah, that would be awesome. Would love to see Woe again.
Yeah, that would be great to get him on. That'd be a lot of fun.
I'll
Uh,
wear all of my Wotus jerseys and like partway through, I'll just take off one and there'll be another one already underneath it.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just
That's
and
cool.
just as you're
Piazza's
asking your
not
question,
managing the
like,
attack. Yeah.
So
Piazza's not managing the Italians this year, right? Is he?
no, it's Francisco Cervelli.
That's right. That's right. Another catcher, though.
Yeah, and Dusty Baker, old friend, is managing for Nicaragua. I can't say that the country's name, Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
Yes. So he's managing back in the game. Yeah. So let's go to three up, three down. Let's round it out here on the Shutdown Inning Podcast. Let's start with the downs. Tyler Hall, what do you got?
Yeah, I got your friend Artie Moreno down in Anaheim. Steven says winning is not a priority, which is just an asinine thing for an owner to say. He said he was basing that off of fan polls. Like I guess they ran some polling with their fans, and he said winning wasn't a top five priority for his fans, so it's not a top five priority for him, Steven.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of this, and like he's making the argument that it is more friendly to, and I've seen owners say worse, but like I've seen like he's making the point that Angel Stadium is affordable, family friendly, all that stuff, but it's not a good look. It's a horrible look. You cannot say that, especially when you're a big league team that um, thrives and succeeds based on players coming to your team and wanting to play for your team. And it's not a good look. I mean, the Angels have had a lot of bad free agent contracts in the past. They have not been run properly. We've talked about them a bunch on this show, and not a good look. Winning is number one. I don't care what those surveys said. The surveys could have said that it's more friendly if there's lower prices, all that stuff, but you just can't say it out loud. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care what the survey says.
He should have just said he's in the memory making business
Exactly. Yeah.
and left it at
Yeah.
that.
Who would
But
remember
yeah,
the home run that Scott Spezio hit? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's like we know winning's not a priority for you because we've watched you completely waste Mike Trout's career.
Yeah. And not retain Shohei.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like we talked about it before we started recording. He might be making a run at John Fisher for most downs in shutdown inning history.
Yeah, we
We
got
might
to
have to
keep
go
track.
back and check. We should have kept all of our agendas. We should have just done a different page for each one. But oh
Yeah, like a
well.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down number two, some sad news coming out of Pittsburgh. Hall of Famer Bill Mazeroski passed away earlier this week. I believe he was 89. Obviously most well known for hitting a walk-off home run in Game 7 of the World Series. Only one of those to ever exist. Basically living out what every kid who loves baseball dreams about in their backyard growing up, and he lived it. And yeah, so he passed away earlier this week. So obviously it's some sad news and tip of the cap to the Hall of Famer, Steven.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's probably a top three home run of all time. I mean, you think of the shot heard around the world with Bobby Thompson. You think of that one, to be honest. Those are the two that come to mind for me, and it's the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame too. Really didn't have that much of a lengthy career, but just a Pittsburgh icon, and that moment is like talked about among people in Pittsburgh, and a lot of not just in Pittsburgh but everywhere. It was like a core radio moment too. People like recall. I've heard it and listened to it being talked about how people just like listened to that on the radio and just heard the Pirates win the World Series. So
Hmm.
one of the most famous home runs of all time. And definitely rest in peace, Bill Mazeroski.
Yeah, and I believe I don't know if it's still there, but I know for a long time the portion of wall, I forget which stadium it was at the time in Pittsburgh, but they left the portion of the wall that his home run went over up when they like tore down the rest of the
I think it might
stadium.
have been Forbes Field, if I'm not
That's what I
mistaken.
wanted to say, but I didn't want to get it wrong. Forbes sounds correct. But yeah, rest in peace, Bill Mazeroski. And then last down is the basically the Major League Baseball Players Association right now. They're have had a tough week with Tony Clark stepping down. Uh, I guess there was the math wasn't mathing in the Players Association accounting. And then Tony Clark was getting a little extracurricular on the sidelines as well. So he has stepped down. Bruce Meyer stepping in as the new head of the MLB Players Association, Stephen, and kind of not the best timing to have something like this going on when people expect, we're maybe 10 months away from a work stoppage.
Yeah, no, horrible, horrible situation and not the right time for this to happen. But yeah, the MLBPA and Clark, they were under federal investigation. There was a whistleblower that said that there was misappropriations, misuse of appropriations in the office of the Association, and in uncovering that, they found that he had a sister-in-law on the payroll, and not only was she on the payroll, he was having an affair with her. And that got everybody wondering in the baseball world, well, was it his brother's sister or was it his wife's sister? Or no, was it his brother's wife or his sister's or was it his brother's wife or his wife's sister? There we go. Um, and like I was like going back and forth with this because like everybody's talking about this like on social media, like, oh, which one was it? And like which would be worse? And I don't have a good answer on what would be worse. The brother's wife. That's neither here
I
nor there.
I go with C, none of the above is
None
the
of the
best
above.
one.
It's bad either way, but not a good idea for I mean,
One thing that doesn't really matter in the whole situation, but just like so his sister-in-law was on the payroll. Was she actually like working in some capacity for the Players Association, or was he just kind of paying her out of the association's funds?
I believe she was working. I believe she was some kind of secretary or maybe that's stereotypical to call her a secretary because that's usually how these instances happen. But
Or like
uh,
an executive assistant or something
yeah, an
like
executive
that.
assistant, something like that. But it's honestly not a good situation. Bruce Meyer was sworn in as the new Players Association rep, and he was kind of the top negotiator anyway. But like there was stuff about Tony Clark that players, like a lot of players like him, a lot of players didn't actually like him, and that he was kind of getting pressure the last few years based on the last bargaining go around. And the guy that took over, Bruce Meyer, like there's a stretch where he wasn't liked very much by the players, but I think the players are just like, okay, he's a decent enough negotiator to where he'll speak for us. But not a good situation entering kind of the eve of bargaining. Um, but just, I mean, I cannot wait to figure out if it was his brother's wife or his wife's sister. That is to me the biggest story of this whole thing.
On episode 64 of the Shutdown Inning.
Yeah, I hope that comes out because I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, but so those that wraps it up. Artie Moreno, Bill Mazeroski passing away, and Tony Clark doing whatever the hell he's doing for the Players Association. So we'll
Yeah.
go kick it over to Steven for the ups.
Yeah, tough week for Bill Mazeroski getting a down this week.
I
Um,
mean, it's sad that I know you like
yeah,
to
I know.
put like the weird ups, like you know,
I know, I
you
know.
would have put him as an up, like Bill
I
Mazeroski passed away. Like, no, it's sad
Yeah.
news, but then you reflect on it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That was a mean thing to say. Sorry, Tyler. Forgive me, please. All right. Well, the first up here, the number one prospect in all of baseball is a kid named Connor Griffin. And Connor Griffin is with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was the ninth overall selection in the 2024 draft out of Jackson Prep High School in Mississippi. And he's the top prospect in all of baseball. Is having an impressive spring. Had a multi-home run day the other day. Um,
And they
and
were bombs too. They weren't wall
yeah,
scrapers.
they were bombs at the Red Sox home in Florida, which is where they have the Green Monster replica. Absolute bombs. And from everything that I've read and heard, I heard a podcast where they were evaluating him and what he brings to the table. He's a big guy. So he's on the taller side, 6'3", 220. Big for a shortstop, right, historically. But from what I heard, he's got like the reach of a Carlos Correa and some of the bigger guys that have played there, and he's got the athletic ability of Francisco Lindor. So he's not only going to be the real deal defensively, but he's also got a chance to steal a ton of bases at the big league level. Stole 65 bases last season across three different levels. So this is like a big time player, 21 homers. I mean, five tool player. I mean, 100% a five tool player. If it doesn't work out at shortstop, he could play some outfield too. He started there. So I'm really looking forward to Connor Griffin. And it's just cool to see these prospects kind of take advantage of their spotlight.
Yeah, you've kind of heard more about him over the last couple of years as he slowly climbed up. Now he's the top, top prospect in baseball. And if this spring is any kind of, insight into the future, the Pirates are going to have a great player there for 5 or 6 years, and then they'll either trade him or let him go in free agency. But he's really fun to watch. I've watched after he had that debut earlier this week in spring training. I went and watched some more tape on him. He's really fun to watch. And shout out to you and me for balancing this out with Pirates middle infield up and down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go, Bill. From the past to the future. He
Yeah.
probably had some takes on Connor Griffin for sure. So that's up number one. Up number two, the Tampa Bay Rays. We've talked about stadium stuff. I really do feel bad though that the Rays are going to have their stadium stuff figured out after the A's do because it's just not fair. And maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe something happens where the construction gets delayed in Las Vegas. But apparently, there is you mentioned there's a site for for a new ballpark, and they have a few years to get this thing together. Tropicana's back, by the way, this year. There's going to be upgrades to that ballpark to get it ready for baseball, but there is momentum growing for a possible Tampa site, and a stadium deal would be a big deal for the Rays, and in the Tampa area, especially, I think that would be a really cool thing. So. Give credit to where credit's due. As much as I hate to credit Ron DeSantis and company in Florida, keeping Rays in Florida, that would be a cool thing for that state and for baseball.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you never want to see a fan base lose their team. And, that kind of went, because they were making great progress towards a new stadium a few years back. And then the hurricane took out Tropicana. And obviously, the state and the local governments in Tampa had other things to worry about than will our professional baseball team have a new stadium or not? So glad they're able to kind of recover from that, get the Trop back up first and foremost, so they can have a true home again this year. And then, hopefully find a spot to call home for the long term because a lot of I don't know, I haven't seen this new site necessarily, but I know a lot of the renderings they were showing a couple of years ago for what they were thinking, the stadium looked pretty awesome, which is like a complete 180 from the Trop. So, hopefully it all works out for them and they'll be the Tampa Rays until your kids are your age, Steven.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of stadiums, Tyler Hall, there was a report by John Shea in the San Francisco Standard
Shay
about
Hay.
Shea Hay, one of our favorites. Got to get him on the show. I know he would do it too.
Yeah.
John Shea reporting that the MLB All-Star Game in 2028 could be on its way to San Francisco. So there are some technicalities to this. The Bay Area, of course, has hosted the NBA All-Star Game last year, the Super Bowl. Next month, the West Regional and the March Madness is going to be here. We know about the World Cup. Um, but Oracle Park could skip the line if um, it's all contingent on if the Major League Baseball players participate in the 2028 Olympics. So this is an expert from Shea's story. An All-Star game in San Francisco is contingent on whether Major League players partake in the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. And momentum continues to grow for participation to become a reality, as we saw Rob Manfred talk about this once before. The Chronicle reported this as well. And the reason is, if all works out, the Giants All-Star Game festivities will be in San Francisco in mid-July 2028. The Olympic baseball tournament would follow in LA at Dodger Stadium. And then the reason why San Francisco is kind of skipping the line here is because the preference is for Major League Baseball to have an All-Star game closer to LA, closer to the Olympics. And the Giants have been applying for numerous years to get the All-Star game back. They would cut the line. And there's been teams waiting, like Toronto's been 30 years, more than 30 years. Baltimore's been 30 years. Boston 99. So there's teams that they would be skipping, but they don't want the league doesn't want the All-Star game too far from the Olympics. And San Francisco could be an option because every MLB city on the West Coast has hosted one after the Giants. The Mariners had one, Dodgers, Rockies, Padres, Diamondbacks, Angels. So could be a cool
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, the logistics make sense, especially if they're playing in the Olympics. It sounds like baseball would have kind of like a shutdown like the NHL just had so that
Yeah.
their players could participate in the Olympics. I mean, even if the major league players don't play in the Olympics, I mean, it's been 21 years. If they have it in 28, it'll be 21 years since Oracle Park hosted it. And, there's not that many parks that should be hosting it over it in the first place. So it'd be great to have it back. I mean, did you, no, you didn't even know what baseball was in 2007. I was able to go to the game. It was really cool. If you've watched the highlights of it, I got a standing room only ticket like last minute. And on the arcade in right field, there was like a green stand they had put up so more cameras could be up there. I was standing right under that. So, it was a nice little shield. It rained a little bit during the game. It sprinkled a little bit, but I was under that thing. Ichiro hit the only inside the park home run that game in All-Star game history, and he hit it like right towards that thing, so that I had a good view of that. And the baseball All-Star game is it's the one thing that baseball has over any other sport is like their All-Star game is still the closest to like an actual game. Every matchup is must see. Every pitcher wants to get every hitter out. Every hitter wants to take every pitcher deep. They're not letting up. The players just kind of rotate through because they want everyone to have a shot, but they are playing a baseball game. They're not playing flag football or whatever the hell the NBA calls what their All-Star game is now. So it'd be great to have it in the city again. I would love to take, the family down there and just take it all in. So hopefully, and then I want to see Major League Baseball players in the Olympics too, Steven. So this is a win-win for Northern California baseball fans if it comes true.
I agree, and I think the amount of attention that was focused on hockey this year is a good jump, or is a good push for that. So I agree. Yeah, no recollection of the All-Star game in San Francisco in 2007, but I will say, after seeing the Super Bowl here, um, and understanding what events would take place in the city, like that would be so cool just to have it here. And the Bay Area Host Committee, who's responsible for putting in these bids are just completely dominating right now. Like things are coming back to San Francisco. Um, Last weekend, I don't know if you heard, there was the F1 event put on by Red Bull in the Marina District, which, brought thousands of people out in the streets. So, I mean, it's really a vibe right now with all these big events coming. The World Cup's going to be great in Santa Clara. There will be events in San Francisco too. So, really cool to see. And as the mayor Daniel Lurie would say, "Let's go San Francisco." Um, so, um, yeah, but I think we shut it down again. And by the way, before I say we shut it down again, if there's an All-Star game in San Francisco, we got to do a remote broadcast from
Absolutely.
some maybe the Cove or something like that, or wherever. We'll
Yeah, we can do some like just roaming like at Fan Fest. They do like an All-Star Game Fan Fest when in '07 they like took over Moscone Center. Like we could do a lot of fun stuff with that, dude.
yeah, no, a lot of fun. Um, all right, we shut it down again.
We
We
did
did.
it. It's gone.
We did it. We completely shut it down here on episode 63. Uh yeah, WBC coming up. We'll have full coverage of that. Thank you everybody for listening. And we'll definitely see you next time.
That's what's up.
Atta babe.